Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Keefe, editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman, and we are sitting here with Mr. Ibert Schultz, who is the executive director of Black College Success. Mr. Ebert, what's going on, my brother?
Doing well, doing well. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing all right. You on the West Coast, right? LA?
Yeah, let's go. Sunny California.
Lucky you. I'm in New York. Also, the turtleneck. Okay. It's cold over here. Um, so love speaking with you. First and foremost, appreciate what you're doing. This organization, which we're going to get into, is um interesting, needed, and I'm so happy that we're here to amplify and have these type of conversations so that more people can get involved, can know about it, use the resources, and get some people to donate as well because we all need more resources. So, first and foremost, tell me, what is Black College Success?
Um, I'd like to say that's a good question because for us, it all starts with the student. It starts with it starts with the concept of everyone has potential. How do we tap into that potential? Uh, how do we make sure that students from South Los Angeles, students from California, and ultimately students across this country, Black students, have the opportunity to achieve their wildest dreams? So when we think about Black college success, when we think about the work that we're doing, we're focused on providing an opportunity through academic empowerment. We're using education, that long story pathway to success, to resource, to self-actualization as a pathway for students to really kind of like work through.
Awesome. So, what got you initially interested in being involved?
I think a lot about the work that we're doing at Black College Success as a unique opportunity. My own biography is I'm from New York City, public
Okay.
school kid who made good on the opportunity to go to Morehouse. And from Morehouse, really kind of looked at looked at kind of the opportunity that I received and kind of what that meant to the investment that was made in me, but also how do I pour back into our community? How do I pour back into our larger community? Served in Peace Corps, then went to law school at the University of Michigan, storied tradition um, of public service, of using your law degree for good. Um, and with that in mind, wanted to make sure that other students, those like me, and even those not like me, had that same opportunity. So when we were getting Black College Success up and running, we wanted to focus on the student. We wanted to focus on making sure that we weren't just working with what I call the superstars, the ones who would be successful even without our help, but the full range of academic achievement because that light turns on today or tomorrow, but when it turns on, we want to be there for our young people. And the work we do as a result encompasses that. We support students at every stage of their journey. It
So I
comes,
was going to ask you, I wanted to know kind of where do you kind of pick them up and carry them over to?
I think that's a good question because as you know, the Eric today wasn't the Erica yesterday, right? And it won't be the Erica tomorrow. So we kind of find our students at really kind of unique points in their journey when they're incredibly impressionable, but also while they might feel like they know everything about the world, know nothing of what's to come. While they might feel in terms like they don't know about what's to come, we help them see the future and pull the future forward a little bit. You do this today, this is possibly what you can be experiencing and tapping into tomorrow. So we find our students in the high school setting. The innovation of Black College Success is whereas most programs ask you to come to them, we go to our students. We go into the high schools and we recruit them and we work with them during school time. We work hand in glove to get them into college.
Can
Um,
I ask you real quick, what does that recruitment look like? So when you go into these classrooms, is it like people like if you're interested in going to college, go see this group, or do you have partnerships where or where teachers recommend students, or kind of how does it specifically work with the first introduction with the students?
Yeah, that's a good question. What we do is, we have partner schools, and in those partner schools, we send our incredible team of college access managers. Now, this is the team that works with our high school students on getting into college. As they go into the schools, like any good recruitment, talk about the value out of the program. The cool thing about Black College Success is that every day our students choose us. After they apply, they're part of the program, but and being part of the program, just like anything else, we have to demonstrate value add to their along their journey. So, we send our team, a really incredible team of college access managers who are from the community, who've also gone through college, many of which have professional degrees, but really are focused on one, connected with young Black students, but also doing it in a way that's culturally competent. They recruit the students submit the application, and then we admit them as part of our cohort. Every year we take about 200 to 225 students as part of our cohort. And the thing about being part of our cohort is that not only do the students have us and have their family, they also have each other. That's the really cool part about it all. But that's just only the first part of the journey. Once we get you into college, our goal is to make sure that we get you out of college and we get you out of college into a high demand career. And as part of that work, we do so many different things to make sure that students can succeed. There's no one standard way. I'm reminded of the quote, how do you change the world? You work with the students. How do you save the students? One student at a time, right? And that's ultimately what we do. We have a number of college success managers, and this is the team that works with the students when they're on college campuses. And each and every kind of student has their own plan, right? Kind of has like kind of a way in which they're working with our college success managers that's special and unique to them. And I got to tell you, it's a tremendous amount of work, but it's I like to call good work. We have over 540 students at more than 80 different colleges and universities across the country. So students at Harvard, students at Yale, students at Middlebury, but also students at local community colleges, at the CSUNs, at UCLA, the full range of the educational experience. And I'm really proud of the work that we're doing.
That's amazing. And even to take it a step further, just doing some research and having some conversations with your colleagues, it's not just getting them into college, it's getting them into at least like a top 100 school, right? And trying to make sure that they are, in a space where you get them into college, but also trying to get them in the best education that they can get, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a really good point to make. So, just as we all have different like kind of views of ourselves. We work with our young people to kind of imagine themselves in places that they probably didn't necessarily imagine they would. Um, that takes the shape and form at times of having go to kind of some of the most elite colleges and universities across the country. In other instances, it's also like kind of specifically targeting schools and universities that has the program, that has that writing institute, that has that professor that they want to study under, so that they can really actualize kind of their dream in the game plan we work with them on. So to your point, we specifically work on like helping our students not just going to school, but also getting into their reach schools in many occasions. I'll share a really cool story with you. Some of the stuff is about unlocking the potential, and that's some, but the majority of our work is about finding that spark, unlocking the potential that's in a young person, right? We've had a number of situations where we have students who just weren't going to apply to college, but after working with our college access managers, and they're really good at like kind of not only explaining the value out of college, but also making it accessible. These students not only got into like the different schools, but got presidential scholarships. So imagine that, right? You go from like not applying to like going to school for free in really elite spaces, right? So like I'm really, really, really excited and really proud of like the work that we do in bridging that gap between kind of expectation and reality. And that reality at times is really, really impactful, and it's changing their lives every day.
No, that's amazing. I haven't been in college for a certain amount of years. So I would like to know what are some of the current challenges that Black students are having with issues with trying to get into college right now. I feel like the financial it's
Yeah.
always been a thing. That was the thing, my thing. We stay at the financial aid office, but I wonder, are there any other challenges that they face right now? Even in your speaking about your program, I wish that there was something like that when I was in school because I kind of went to whatever school gave me the most money and not necessarily the school that made sense for what I wanted to do in terms of my professional career, what I thought I wanted to do at that time. But I just, do you have any more insight on kind of what those challenges are?
Yeah, first, Org, I want to say thanks for saying that because that's the goal of our program, right? To kind of be that helping hand, be that that mentor, the hidden mentor that we all wish we had. So, hearing you say that sound makes me feel like it's working. We're doing what we set out to do. As it relates to the challenges around kind of what our students are facing, it's ever evolving. We are data driven, and I'm enormously proud of that fact because we are focused on outcomes. And, I think a lot of the work around outcomes is hidden in kind of the data. And what that data is telling us is one, mental health is a big challenge for our young people. You got to remember, coming up on our fourth cohort, a lot of these young people graduated when COVID was at its nadir, right? When COVID was happening. So you can imagine the social emotional like deficits that exist with just kind of learning via iPad, being told to keep distance, and all of that encompasses that really unprecedented time period, right? I remember what it was like. I can only imagine what it's like to not have a graduation, to kind of like not have all the social learnings that come with school, right? So, we work with our young people around those challenges, the mental health challenges. Now, we're not mental health professionals, but what we do and what we do well is resource navigate. Our college success managers, when they show up on campus to visit a student, they make sure to connect with the administration. They make sure they kind of help the student know where resources are and kind of introduce them to those people who could be support to them. Um, and that's something we're seeing, and we've seen kind of like the worst part about it, but we've also seen our students overcome. I'll share a story with you that I think is really kind of insightful. We had a young man. This guy's a star. He got a full ride to a really prestigious university. Uh, but we found out that he was also having real significant challenges. He had no one to go to, despite us being there, because he felt like he was letting us down, and he was having mental health episodes. So he almost fell out of school. We stepped in, petitioned to get him back in school, help him with a tutor, help him to get back into class, and help him receive treatment. Now he's one of our leading advocates around mental health and around the value add of the supports and work that we're giving. So, I share that story as like illustrative of kind of the experiences, no matter how successful you are in school, that our students are impacted with. And then finally, let's talk about the environment. I think, I think another challenge and probably like a macro challenge that we're all kind of trying to work through is the Supreme Court's most recent ruling on affirmative action.
I was gonna ask you. I was like, how is your organization able to navigate, or how do you now approach with this now the ruling, which basically says race-based admissions and all the you can't do those type of things, and then also challenging kind of like the legacy admissions, correct?
Yeah, so to that point around climate, yeah, I think that's not a small point. Because when you're talking about admissions, when you're talking about kind of rulings that kind of get to the heart of identity, get to the heart of like kind of not just identity, but my experience as a result of my identity and my experience as a result of my identity and how that has impacted my educational journey, you really kind of at times making some students feel like, maybe my full self, I can't show my full self. And not only can I not show my full self to like an admissions committee, which I think is incredibly important, how does that reverberate across the admissions landscape when I show up on campus? Whereas, there might have been, a stronger, more robust community of Black students. There isn't anymore, right? Or there's been like an incredible amount of attrition. Or, funding has now been challenged, or, you just have a certain environment that is not necessarily kind of the environment that I think is fertile for cross collaboration and community, right? So there is an impact, but fortunately, we're only at the beginning. And, being at the beginning, I think there's an opportunity to focus on ways that we can provide those supports, that community with a capital C that our students need in the face of larger, kind of more macro federal policy challenges.
Do you have any concerns right now based off of, maybe, I know you're in the beginning, but kind of, if you could look a little futuristic, right? And try to see what type of, we have executive orders coming out of nowhere, DI initiatives being rolled back, are there, what are your thoughts on the long lasting implications of of the current administration, just to be frank?
You know, you know, I think one of the challenges is, we're trying, the work we do today is about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I'm most concerned about is the impact, not just of, a rollback of a commitment to diversity, a rollback of, and I don't want to say a commitment to diversity, a commitment to America. Because I think that's the thing that makes this country so great, is that, it's a melting pot of communities, of viewpoints, of opinions and cultures. So what I worry about most is that a rollback of that commitment and how it impacts kind of who we are, kind of what our institutions represent in the future. We could see now, just from, the data or lack thereof, because a lot of organizations, a lot of entities are not reporting in the same way, is that we don't have the data. And you and I know, without the data, you don't have the investment. And without the investment, you don't have the progress. So that's what I worry about when I talk about today and its impact on tomorrow. As we lose kind of a view, line of sight into kind of how many students are where, how many people are getting in, and who's supporting what, I worry that we lose an investment in a community, in all communities, specifically the Black community, and kind of what that means for opportunity and pathways in the future.
Real, it's real. Um, so Harvard University recently announced that they are now providing, free tuition for families under 200,000. Now, let's be clear. Normally, Ivy Leagues, they do have free tuition. It's just the bar is a little lower. I think Harvard University used to be 75,000. Now, they increased it to 200,000. We'd like to get your thoughts on the latest update from the organization or from that school, and what you think about that.
Yeah, I love that. Anytime you have an institution that's really focusing on taking away a roadblock that stands in the way of student receiving education, I'm all for it. What I want us to really think about is who does that benefit? And not only do I want us to think about who does that benefit, I'd like us to kind of really kind of connect that more to access, and kind of make sure that just as the tuition is free for, effectively free for anybody who's making under $200,000. Let's make sure that the communities that are in need of that benefit, that opportunity, have also had access to it, right? So when you talk about the idea that's on the other side of getting into Harvard, let's focus more on like kind of how we can make sure more students of color, more Black students specifically, can get into Harvard.
I agree. It's a very interesting, I'll say, play that they've done, because yeah, we get it. Now you have more people that have the opportunity to attend the college, but again, we're still going back into what does those people look like, right? Like, who are the ones actually going into the college, and how are you ensuring that it's an equal amount? And I think with the current rollbacks, the current administration, you don't really have that ability to dictate, or at least to show from the data what they're going to do to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think, and to your point, Eric, like just as it's free for it's effectively free. How many Black students will benefit from that? So let's
Mhm.
find a way to make sure that we can increase the access, which is under assault for Black students.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my last question for you, I just want to know what is next for Black college success?
I love that question because we're focused on the future. We're focused on not just the future of you know uh, the organization, but what that future means for our students. We started off as an organization focused on getting kids into college. And then once we get them into college, getting them out of college. But you and I know that that's just the starting point. To be quite honest, I'd like to say that, I probably would be in school right now, still many, many, many years later, if they paid me to go to school, but they don't. School's expensive. So why do we go to school?
Right.
We go to school, Eric, because we want to achieve a measure of economic security for ourselves and for our family. So when we talk about what's next, we're focused on kind of that the job, about a good job. How do we make sure that students that we're working with, Black students that we're working with, are able to put their degree in motion, put the skills that they learn, put the network that they put in place, and kind of launch off into a career. So what's next for Black College Success is what I call a final peak, final wing of the organization. We're building out a whole workforce development career pathways project that we call the Futures Project, which is about certifications, micro certifications, micro
The
internships.
Futures Project?
The Futures Project. It's
The
part of
Futures.
Black College Success. And it's specifically for our students. It's around micro certifications, it's around internships, and around job placement. So just as we meet you when you're in high school, we work with you to get into college. You work with us on the Bridge Summer STEAM Academy, where we take you to USC. You stay in the dorms, you eat at the caf, you talk by USC instructors. Then you go off to college. Then we help you get out of college. We help you launch into a career. So think of it as like kind of a full ecosystem where, we meet you as a young man and you leave us as a full adult and cradle to career. So when we talk about what's next, we talk about making sure that our young scholars can enter the workforce and be leaders within their era.
Listen, and then I need another component is that once we come there, when I want to become a promotion, a director, C-suite, I need y'all to help me with that too.
There you go. It's all about progress and all about moving forward.
Awesome, awesome. This is amazing what you're doing. I'm so happy to hear about these type of opportunities and these type of nonprofits and the community coming in and helping because I see the new I write the news, right? I report on these things all the time. So to be able to have these conversations about the people that are really doing the work and actually putting their not just talking, they're actually doing the things, executing to help young Black men. I love it. I commend you. It's amazing. And this is great.
No, I thank you, Eric. I thank you for sharing your platform and shedding light on the work that we're doing. I like to say we're LA's best kept secret because when people find out what we do, they're ecstatic. But not only that, for me, I feel like the luckiest man. I get a chance to wake up and to pour into the future and kind of help seed the ground for the next generation. So thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for kind of sharing your time with us.
Of course, of course. And thank you guys for tuning into this interview. You'll make sure to see all the information inside our link on our website and you can get more information. Thank you so much.